me again today. If you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Stacy, and this is me documenting my Maffetone training journey. I'm doing a block of training from beginning of May through September, and then my plan is to run a 10K sometime in the fall of 2021. So this is my weekly recap, just to let you know what I did this week, how I trained, what worked for me, and what I'm still struggling with. So let's just get started with how far did I go this week. I ran 3 times this week for a total of a little over 14 miles. It's between 14 and 15 miles. In those 3 days, I ran Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I had a gym day on Tuesday and Sunday, which is today when I'm filming, and I also had 2 days of rest. My husband and I are traveling just for a vacation before he begins a new job. So the 2 days that it took us to get to this location were my rest days. I didn't do anything except, walk around a little bit. Once we got to our condo, we of course walked around, and so I was active those days, but they were really rest days from running or from gym work. So the 2 days that I did back in my neighborhood were both kind of cold and windy, 50s and 60s. When I got to this location, which we're actually on the beach, it's about 72, or it was 72 when I ran yesterday, and it's windy and it's also humid. And so humidity is something that I haven't dealt with yet this year in Texas. So I know that that's coming, and so it just reminded me to think, okay, this is how I'm gonna feel probably in the next month. I keep saying, it's about to get hot, it's about to get hot, and it still hasn't in Texas. As a matter of fact, it's raining there right now, which is good. It's good for my flowers. Be sure and check my gardening videos on my channel. They're really good. I love gardening, but I'm also enjoying this Maffetone training right now. What is working for me? So I'll just tell you that my history as a runner goes back to the fall of 2012, and my church was having a 5K in order to raise money for a charity. And so I trained for the 5K. That was my very first endurance run, and I used Couch to 5K. I only trained for about 8 weeks. I ran the 5K. I wasn't the fastest in my age group, but I wasn't the slowest. And all I was really there to do was just to see what it was like to run that distance. I'd never run that distance before. So fast forward to last fall, 2020. During the whole shutdown thing, all I did was walk. And I really started to think towards the fall, maybe I could do a little bit more, maybe I could get back to running. And so that's when I did start training just to run on my own. And my goal was always 5K because that was the distance that I had always run. And so I wasn't concerned about it being fast, but my mindset back then was still run for as long as you can, as fast as you can. And so I would run, in spurts, and I would run as fast as I could. I ran a 5K just on my own in my neighborhood Thanksgiving Day. I can remember that because I almost was at my same time that I ran back in my very first 5K in 2012. Now, I'm also 8 years older than back then. So age does figure into things, and that's one of the things that I always have in the back of my mind is that I have to give myself a little grace. I'm not going to be the same speed that I was back then, but that's kind of an aside. Anyway, with my training right now, with the Maffetone method, I'm never running as fast as I can. I'm really trying to play the game and stay at or below 131. That's my top aerobic heart rate. So it's just taking me a longer to get in mileage now, but that's really okay with me. So here's what's working for me. I'm still using my Maffetone earbuds. I'm forming some opinions. It's been 3 weeks since I've been really intentional about wearing them and thinking about what using them means to my training. Be sure and watch my Vloggy Run video because I do share some extra thoughts on the Maffetone earbuds in that video. Little shameless plug there. It'll be linked up here. It's interesting because when I'm not listening to music, I mean, I have plenty of things to think about anyway, but I'm also becoming more aware of what it feels like, what my heart rate feels like, what my breathing feels like when I'm getting close to that top number, which for me is 131. And I can pretty much predict when the app prompt is going to say, there's a whistle that blows, which is a little annoying, but the prompt is going to say that I'm above my target zone. So that's kind of interesting that I'm really learning that how I feel when my heart rate starts to get high. Something that is still difficult for me that I'm struggling with is to be sure and stretch. And I know I've talked about, y'all are probably getting tired of me talking about stretching. It's just that I know that it's good. I know I should do it when I'm warm. I'm having trouble just doing it right away. Let me know down in the comments if you have a way of stretching that you think is fun or enjoyable. Maybe it's just going to take more discipline on my part and just being a big girl and doing the thing that I don't want in order to get the result that I do want. Sometimes I do think, as far as my mileage goes, that maybe I'm not running for as long as I should. And this is a question that I still have to answer going forward. Usually my runs take between an hour and 15 or 20 minutes. And that's basically doing 5 miles. I do want to get to the point where I can increase my mileage. And I think that I will get to that point as I train on through June and July and into the summer. We'll see. This is all a big experiment. But I do want to increase my mileage. I keep thinking, though, that I only have a certain amount of time each day that I can devote to this. I do have other things on my schedule and other things that I've got to take care of. So I'm going to stick to the way it is right now. So far, my longest distance has been 5 miles, but I'm also considering, the time that I'm spending on my legs. I know that just in the last month, time on my legs has felt better. I don't feel as worn out after doing a run this way, where back in when I was really training and running a lot of 5Ks in 2013 and 2014, it would be that would be the only thing that I would do for the rest of the day. I would just rest after, and usually or races are run in the morning, right? So I would be fine with taking it easy for the rest of the day. And I'm not worried about that anymore. I'm okay with getting my run done in the morning. And then I have lots of other things that I want to do during the day, even if that means going for another walk with a friend of mine or with my husband, or just doing other physical activity outside, like working in my yard. I know I can do all of that now. And I know that the things that I'm doing now, I'm 54. I want to be running in my 60s and my 70s. I want to have strong legs where I don't take a fall. That's what scares me, is to not have the kind of leg strength to support myself on into my 60s and my 70s and even my 80s. So I know the things that I'm choosing to do now are going to benefit me going forward. I think that's something that we all have to keep in mind always. That's pretty much all I have to say for now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you'll hit that thumbs up button and also that you'll subscribe. And please give me a comment below. Tell me how you're training. Tell me if you're doing Maffetone or if you're interested, or maybe even ask me a question, and that might prompt me to dig a little bit deeper. I know that I should do some more research, but I'm really having fun right now. And I thank you so much for going on this journey with me. We've got lots of training runs to look forward to in the future. So until next time, happy running, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye.